The India versus South Africa game to be played in Lucknow has been called off because of fog. That's the official reason that's come out. And now what's going to happen? Because the official reason is that there was no visibility, it wasn't safe for the players to play. That's why we had to take this unusual step to cancel this game. And then the post-mortem will happen. And what will the post-mortem be around? It will be around why have games in north of India during winter months where you're going to have fog. So the conclusion is we must not have games in North India, and that's the solution to our problems. But let that not happen, because if that is allowed to happen, then you're actually pushing the real thing under the carpet. I'll explain why. Because the game may have been called off because of poor visibility, you have to get down to the bottom of why there was poor visibility. It's not really fog season. Yes, winter months have come in, but peak fog is yet to come in North India. I say that while sitting in New Delhi. What you saw in Lucknow was smog. It is a combination of smoke, of pollution, with a little bit of fog that's setting in. And so what you had in Lucknow was smog. So smog is the reason, and a lot of it is man-made. It's not just down to climatic conditions. The pollution is man-made. That's why pollution is not a Delhi problem, it's a North India problem. And that was accentuated by the fact that we had image of an Indian cricketer in Hardik Pandya walking in the ground in Lucknow with a mask on. This particular image should haunt fans, and I don't even say cricket fans. Actually, this image should haunt all Indians, because this is the image that is going to be flashed across global media for one of the bizarre reasons for a game to have been called off, because of the smog that was there in Lucknow. I did a quick check of the AQI in Lucknow, and it was anywhere between 300 to 500 on this evening that the game was called off. You know, anytime AQI goes over 200, you are asked not to do any outdoor activities. And even if the game had gone on because of visibility, would it been fair to have professional athletes play in an AQI of 400, which was going to be downright dangerous for them? I think that would have been a very bad idea. So in hindsight, it was good that this game was called off. But if you're thinking that this image of Hardik Pandya is going to really have an impact and things are going to change, well, then you have another thing coming. Why? Because I'll take you back to 2017. We had a similar scenario. We had a similar scenario in the heart of the national capital in Delhi at the Firozshah Kotla Stadium, where a test match between India and Sri Lanka had to be halted because of pollution. You had images of Sri Lankan players wearing masks. You had Sri Lankan players complaining of nausea. You had Sri Lankan players complaining of their eyes burning because of pollution, and that test match had to be halted. You thought that would have been a wake-up call. Things would have changed. No. Here we are 8 years later, and you've had another embarrassment of a game being called off, which will now, as I said, would be marketed as because of fog, but it was anything but that. The irony here is that we are living in times where the government is trying its best to put a good image of India forward. That is why you are now going to be hosting the Commonwealth Games. You're also bidding to host the Olympic Games, because you want to send a message out to the world that we are a sporting nation, where we can have the best events in the world being held here in India. While you're doing all of that, you have a scenario where a cricket match had to be cancelled because of pollution. You tell me, what does that do to the image of our country? Leave us a comment on the video with your thoughts. Give us a like on the video, share it with your friends who may care about what's really happening. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today.